Hello. I wanted to talk about the various ways that you can start farming your Chapter 6. And there are a few strategies that I have seen and tried myself, and I can confirm that they work. For world number 6, there are a few strats that work out really easily if you can get this resonance formation number 3. So once you obtain 14 blessings, you can acquire all 3 resonance formations, and it makes the run much more consistent. So once you get this, it really opens up farming Chapter 6 for full clear. But if you do not want to farm Chapter 6 for your progression here, and you just want for artifacts, then you can just go to the first elite, quit out, and then do it again over and over. Just pop your resin on the first elite, because the first elite will also give you a station where you can acquire your relics. But if you want to do a full clear of Cocolia for your progression, then you would need to build your units sadly. I know some people have been trying to budget their units very hard, so you do need at least an invested team. And there are 2 options that I would recommend for players to have a comfy clear. If you have Seele, you can go for Hunt. And if you have any other buffers, just bring them with Seele and just protect Seele. And if you do that, you will have a very easy time. It is because of how Hunt works in general. So if you look at the Hunt blessings. So for Hunt blessings, right, the most important one is the critical boost one. For each stack you get 6% crit rate and 12% crit damage, stacking up to 8 times, but when you upgrade it, it becomes 12. So you take 12 times 6 and 12 times 12 for a bunch of damage. In addition to that, the Puff Resonance is really good in that on kill, you will refund 50% of the energy. And if you have this Resonance here, 100 to 200 points, so now you have 200 points. Whenever you kill an enemy, you gain back 100 energy. So it's very strong. It lets you activate your Resonance twice. So with that, you can actually just save your Resonance for when Cocolia summons her ads, and then you just press the R button twice, and you pretty much just wiped out all of them. So it's very comfy to bring for Cocolia fight. Besides the critical boosts, there are also really good ones like this. If you have some sort of crit rate or crit damage, then combine with critical boost, you can get even more crit rate and crit damage here using battle against the old foe. Any of them that says defeat, right, it's not very important for any part of the run. This is more for comfy clears of the initial part of the run. So the other important ones are actions. Ejecting the Borisin is really good because it gives you more actions, and it's very strong. Because having more actions means more energy, means more skill points, means more turns for Seele to go and smack Cocolia. This one is also a really good one when you start getting the extra actions one. So if you get this and you get this Flowing Mist, you can get a significant amount of damage bonus, and if you upgrade, you get your skill point back. Very strong synergy here. And this one is also what makes you very hard to kill. Whenever you use your ult, or when your character's turn begins, you restore HP based on the critical boost amount. And if you combine with this, you get a really strong, very tanky team of DPSs. I really like this. In addition to that, there's a lot of stat increases here, which are just, you take them in order to get the resonance paths, which are here. I did not do this strat because I don't have Seele. I think Danheng is not too strong with this strat, but I think it's possible if your Danheng is pretty built. But there are also some really good ones like the energy gain one, the action forward one, and then this one is really strong because if you have been collecting 14 hunt perks, then you already hit the max. And then you just take 4 times 9 and that's how much speed boost you get. It's a shit ton of speed. And everything else here is just stuff that you take whenever you see it, because you want to get the Path Resonance. Those are the ones that make the runs really comfy, and you also want to snipe Imperial Rain as fast as you can, because this one is really the make or breaker for Hunt. So besides the Seele strat for Hunt, there's also the Preservation strat, which I use as a free-to-play player because Fire Traveler is a ridiculous unit. So what you want to take here on the Preservation is you want to take this. At the start of the battle, you gain a special shield. And whenever another shield is gained, this special shield also strengthens in value. And when you upgrade it, it is strengthened even more. And at the start of battle, you gain a 10% shield. What this does, right, in combination with the other resonance paths, is that it will help you to gain a crap ton of shield. And if you look at this one, when an ally gains a shield, Path Resonance additionally regenerates 3% energy, makes for a really strong regeneration for your path. So you can keep spamming as long as you apply shield, and Fire Traveler is applying 4 shields, so whenever she attacks or presses her skill, she will gain 12% energy to the path. So it's a really strong synergy, and I think every free-to-play player can actually just do this. So it's a really strong path. In addition to that, you will need a damage source, and the path has this. For every shielded character on the team, the crit damage increases by 15%. And with Fire Traveler, you're applying 4 shields, so you will always get the maximum amount of crit damage here. So it's really strong. And since the damage scales on shield, right, you want to be stacking as much shield as possible. So stuff like getting extra quick damage, getting extra shield sources. For example, this one is really strong as well. At the end of turn, characters gain a special shield, lasting for 1 turn. At the end of turn, so they're gaining a shield at the end of their turn. It is very strong because it also charges this, and it makes everyone have... Okay, it gives you the energy here, and then it gives you the damage here, because every character at the end of the turn will get a shield. So it's just very strong synergy here, and very strong synergy here. So these 4 here are kind of like the big boys for the preservation run. Everything else is just kind of extra bonuses. You just take them because you want to do more quick damage to the target, you want to add more shielding, you want to get the other resonance effects. The last one here is called Amber. Amber lets you not get overflow damage. What that means that if you have a 1-point shield and the enemy hits you with 10,000 damage, you only take 1 damage, and it's only to the shield. The health bar is not affected. That's very strong effect, and with the Path of Resonance, being able to take 3 of these talents means that the game is just won. Like, there's no way you die with this Amber talent, and there's no way you lose due to the enemy scaling when you have the extra damage here. So Preservation is like one of my favorite strats because it is so chill. I can actually just auto a lot of the fights, and then at the end I'll just need to manual a little bit just to manage the effect of the enemy scaling, for example. Like, oh, I need to wait for Cocolia to summon her bunch of ads, and then I just press the R button, boom, okay, there I microed a little bit, okay, then we can continue the fight. So the last one that I want to talk about is Nihility. Nihility is an interesting one. I have not tried it myself, but I have seen it work. So Nihility usually runs people like Asta, Serval, Sampo, or Hook. So you have a lot of good options here, because I think 3 of those characters are free. Yeah, and then Sampo is the only one that's pullable. And it's very strong because it is actually surprisingly a lot of damage and it heals a lot. So let's look at one of them. I believe it's this one, Suspicion. Suspicion increases the damage you take by the dots, and it stacks up to 99 times. And so how this one works, right, is that every time an enemy receives a dot, you apply a stack here, and if you upgrade it, the stacks will not be reduced. You go up to 99 and you start doing a crazy amount of damage. There is also another important perk here. It is a defensive perk. It makes it so that every time an enemy receives a dot, you gain energy. This is extremely strong when you consider how many dots you'll be applying in this dot team. And there's another one here. Every time an enemy takes damage from a dot, all allies restore HP, equal to 1% of their max HP. You don't even need to upgrade this because if you apply a crap ton of dots, right, this is actually a lot of healing. So if you run like, maybe, let's say you run a safe team, you run Natasha, you run Fire Traveler, and then you run Sampo plus Hook, or you run Serval plus Hook. Then you will be applying maybe 2 dots, and you maintain it at all times on the enemy. You maintain it on the ads as well, because with more enemies on the field, you're applying more dots, so you get more of this effect. So it stacks. It's really strong for keeping your team alive. So Natasha's burden is being relieved, Fire Traveler's burden is being relieved. Very good. Yeah, so I think this strat is really strong actually if you have the units built, but I have not tried it myself yet. I have seen some runs already of people using Nihility. I've even seen some people use like Sampo and Hook to clear Abyss as well. So I think if you want to build those characters, I think you shouldn't be too worried because they are used to clear the resettable Abyss. I think I saw it in Grimm's video, yeah. So yeah, it's not a bad idea to invest into dots if you also want to try this clear. But the ultra safest clear, I would say, is Preservation because we get Fire Traveler and we get March at the start of the game. So with that and a good healer like Natasha or Bailu, you're pretty much good to go. Okay, just auto battle everything in the game. Now that I've talked about the strats, I'll just show you guys some footage of me just running down Cocolia. And the main tip I have for Cocolia is just save your Path of Resonance for when she activates, when she summons her ads, and when she summons Bronya. Because those two things there, those summons, are the ones that will make the fight very hard. But she herself does not make the fight very hard. Okay, before we do that, maybe I should show you the stats. So here, I just go for a bunch of HP on my Natasha. It's not even very high level here. The tracers are relatively maxed out, except I forgot these. Not really super important, don't really need those. Crit Proco, I use it as a stat stick and also for the energy regeneration, it's fine. You can use Cornucopia if you do not have this, and you can use the free one if you don't want to be Cornucopia. Asta is the same. Asta just needs to have a little bit of HP. I give her damage items for some reason. I somehow managed to roll that shit. So it's attack percent here, crit rate here, but you don't even need to because the damage is dealt by the resonance anyway. This is just more or less to just let her live. It gives her more HP and defense, right? So I just did that. And Eidolons wise, for her, I think I got 1 and 2. So this one is really nice. It just makes it so that she keeps her attack buff stacks longer. Not super important, honestly, because you will be getting pretty much a max attack buff on the boss because of all the ads you'll be hitting with your E. And then for Natasha, for Fire Traveler, I just go for max defense. Like, if he has defense, I slap it on. I slap on Amber as well. Amber gives even more defense. It's a 3-star artifact, so everyone has it. Tracers wise, I max it out. Eidolons wise, I farmed until here. But you do not need to get here. All you need to do is get here. Because this one increases the shielding that you apply to allies. Lastly, we got March. March is also a defense bot. Just slap on any artifact you want that increases defense. Sorry. And then just upgrade the shield trace. And try to get the skill removes 1 debuff from an ally because this is really convenient to have. You can cleanse freeze, for example, or Kafka's mind control. So this one is the main one. So if you want to leave this all at level 1, sure. You don't really need them. It's actually a waste if you want to save resources. All March needs is this. And maybe this if you're willing to invest into March. If you don't want to invest into March, then bring another shielder to support the strat. Because this strat really only works when you have 2 shielders. And besides that, there's nothing else. I think for Eidolons wise, March has number 1, but it's not important. She just regenerates energy. This is not very important. And Natasha doesn't have any Eidolons, and Asta only has these 2. Yeah, okay. So as you can see, my team is pretty much free to play. It's very budget. I'm using 4-star artifacts only. I've hit level 40 by the way, so I can actually ascend them to get more stats, but I'm not going to because I want to show you that I can perfectly clear this with what I have right now. For my ability tree, I have farmed until here, but I didn't go any further because I wanted to show you that you don't really need anything past this to clear. But unfortunately I did buy this, so now the run is gonna be a bit there's this one perk that's helping you. Yeah, well yeah, but you can just get here, you can just get here and you're pretty much fine with winning the game really. It's just whether you invest in your units and you have a decent strategy going on. Right, so we'll just bring the team that I talked about, and I'll just let the gameplay play for itself. Alright, that's all for this video. Thank you all for watching.